Hi everyone, for tonight's Nightcap and review, I'm having some water and I'll be reviewing Twisted Shadows by Sophie Dyer. This is a book the author originally sent me an art copy for, but it is currently available on KU, so I downloaded it off of there so that I could support the author and get them their page reads. Of course, I'm always going to give my honest opinion. These are the tropes and these are the content warnings. I am going to say I'm giving this book 3.75. I'll explain my reasoning towards the end, but I will say I did enjoy this read. So first, what's this book about? So this book is about Sloane, our female main character, who's in her early 20s, and for the last year, she has been coming to terms or resigning herself to the fact that her father has essentially sold her into marriage to their bitter enemy rival family. It doesn't sound like there was a war going on, but they are definitely enemies and rivals and doing little jabs towards each other. So this marriage is to solidify a truce and bring peace and prosperity to both families, except the people in the marriage. She knows there's something in the marriage for her, or this truce for her father and their family, but she doesn't know what. And she's getting the feeling that her father is trying to use her for more than just bringing truce to the families. However, it's not just Sloane that's against this marriage. You have Ryder, her male counterpart, who is equally, if not more, against this marriage. Ryder is a hothead with anger issues and trust issues. He doesn't know why this marriage is going forward, what both families are getting out of it. He doesn't trust the other family. He thinks they're scum. He thinks the daughter is there to spy on him, unalive him, or something nefarious. So he's not willing to trust her. He knows that his father is getting something out of this marriage, but he doesn't know what. He doesn't trust his father because his father's a twisted, manipulative fuck who is always dangling the head of the family in front of him and then position and yanking it away. He says, you can have this position once you do this, then yanks it away. You can do it if you do this, then yanks it away. He is also plotting against Ryder, and Ryder's aware of this. He's always trying to thwart his schemes. One of the ways he did that is that he actually joined a syndicate of the younger generation head of families who are rising to power. They are formed a syndicate called the Notorious Five, and now he has a seat at that table, which has angered his father because his father wanted that seat. However, even with all this mistrust, the marriage does go forward and they do end up getting married. But after their marriage, you have outside forces who are plotting against those within the marriage. You have even Sloane and Ryder plotting against one another. This leads to dangerous situations that put people's lives at risk. But even with all the anger, hatred, and mistrust that there is between the two of them, they cannot deny the attraction that there is between the two of them. So are they going to be able to put all that aside? Are they going to give into their attraction? Are they going to learn to trust in one another? Because they're going to need each other to work against these forces that are plotting against them. So what are my thoughts on this book? Again, I'm giving it a 3.75. I did enjoy this book. It had a great overall plot. I enjoyed the characters. They were definitely interesting and very stimulating at times, if you catch my drift. And I enjoyed the author's writing style. Now, I will say I don't read a lot of mafia romances. I always say I'm going to read more, but when the opportunity comes up, I tend to choose fantasy. So I was really excited to choose a mafia romance. I will say I am very familiar with enemies to lovers and arranged marriage tropes. Those are very common in fantasy novels. So I don't know if this is common to the mafia genre or just an element of this book I may not have enjoyed fully. At times, because of the mistrust and distrust with them being from rival families, they just had so many preconceived notions between one another that really could have just been solved if they sat down and had a 5-minute conversation, asked a couple questions, and then most of their problems would have been solved. So for me, at times, it bordered on a miscommunication trope, which I hate that trope more than anything. But that may be something that is common with the mafia genre. I don't know, and I plan to read more to become more familiar with it. So again, this could just be a me issue as opposed to a book issue. So keep that in mind if you choose to read this book. I always encourage people to give it a try for themselves. This is a standalone. It is book 5 in a series. I will say, having read this book and not have read the others, there are elements that I could tell I would have better understood if I had read the previous books. But the characters that were introduced in this book do make me curious as to what happened in their story. So I do plan to become more familiar with the mafia genre and read their stories and read the previous books eventually. I don't know when, but it is on my list. They are all going on my TBR, and I am interested to see what happened to their stories. All 5 books are currently available on KU, so if this series sounds like something you're interested in, definitely look it up, give it a download, and enjoy yourselves. I hope everyone has a good night and happy readings.